Hey y'all, welcome back. Hope everyone is enjoying this wonderful winter weather we've been having. Look at this. We got another dust in the snow last night. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of mechanic work today, again. But I'm gonna crank this truck and let her be warming up, and we're gonna go down here and take a look at that old Ford tractor I bought. And I've got some stuff I need to do to it. Come on, girl. There we go. All right, we're gonna let that thing sit there and warm up for a while. This may sound a little crazy to some, but since I don't get a whole lot of like physical type exercise in when weather's like this, I try to do as much walking around here as I possibly can instead of riding something. So I'm gonna walk down here to the barn, look and see if there's anything special I'm gonna need to get these. What I've got to do is take a hydraulic cylinder off and take a hydraulic line off. I got to have a new line made, and then I got to have the cylinder rebuilt. But I'm gonna go take all that off. But first I'm gonna walk down here, see if there's anything special I'm gonna need to get those off, and then walk back up and drive the truck back down here. Just got the tools and stuff in it. So, you know, it may seem a little crazy to just not do it all at one time, but at least it lets me get just a little bit of exercise in when it's like this. Man, I tell you what though, the weather we've been having lately, you know, the cold temperatures, the snows, like we had several really light snows throughout the month of December. Then we had kind of a mild stretch. You know, it got kind of mild and the weather was really nice. And then we went back into this cold pattern. And, you know, we went for probably, gosh, at least 5, maybe even 10 years there where we've had some really mild winters. We might get a little dust in the snow or, you know, the occasional big snow every once in a while. But what's been going on lately really reminds me of when I was little, when I was a kid. 'Cause man, I can remember being out of school for, you know, a week at a time or so. And right now at the moment, our local schools have been out almost 2 weeks. If they don't go to school tomorrow, it'll be 2 weeks since they've been to school. And it's been a while since we've been in a situation like that. But we have been there. It's just been a while. So I feel like these weather patterns, maybe they make cycles. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that weather cycles around like every 30 years, your weather patterns change. I don't know. I've never really done any research about that. However, I do know that if you go back and look at our temperatures and stuff through the 70s and 80s and even into the early 90s, it was cold. And you look at the snowfall totals, they had a lot of snow back then for this area. This area, my local area is what I'm talking about. I don't know about the rest of the country. But our local area here, it was cold back then and it was a lot of snow back then. And I was a small kid growing up through the 90s. I was born in the late 80s, but I grew up through the 90s. And I can remember some of that. I can remember having those really deep snows. I remember all that. But it's been a while since we've had it. So this is the tractor I'm going to be focusing on today. And what I've got to do is remove this hydraulic cylinder, because if you can see, it leaks. It's leaking out right there. I could fix that myself, but I choose not to because I do know somebody who can rebuild it and they're reasonably priced. And then this line, you see there? It leaks right there. So luckily we have another place not too far from here that makes hydraulic lines, and they do a really good job and they're reasonably priced. So we're going to have them make a new line. And then I've got to run up to Mount Airy, North Carolina, to drop that cylinder off at a guy's, I think it's actually at his house. But I'm going to drop that off up there and have him rebuild that cylinder. But I knew for the line, I just basically needed some wrenches to remove that line. But this is what I hadn't really looked at. Just wanted to see what kind of ring is holding that pin in. Yep, it's what I thought it was. So it's got a gap in the ring right there, and you can spread that ring apart and pull that little clip off, and I should be able to just drive that pin out that way. And then up here, looks like I got a bolt that holds that cylinder in, and I should be able to pull this pin out this way. I don't know, I'll figure it out when I start tearing stuff apart, but I think that's how this is going to go. And that ring right there is the same, so I can, if I have to, I can spread that apart and pull the pin out that way. So it looks like that pin will go either way. So to get that cylinder off, what I'll have to do is take this line loose from up there, pull that pin out, pull that pin out. That should be something fairly easy to remove. It don't mean it's going to be easy, but it should be. At least all my snow out from under the barns finally melted and went away. Most of it anyways. But there's one thing's for certain. You know, all this white stuff laying around does make things aggravating. It makes it difficult to feed. It makes it difficult to take care of animals. It makes it difficult to do anything. I mean, I've pretty much had to completely change the list of things I'm working on. While I could work on that siding on that barn right now if I wanted to, I mean, it's the snow laying around just makes it tough. So I've decided to kind of shift gears and take care of a few mechanical type projects that I've got right now. And that's fine, because in my case, I need this kind of weather to take care of those type of things, because mechanical type stuff, when it's nice weather outside, I just cannot make myself do that type work. Because when it's nice, I'm wanting to be doing something else. So this kind of weather is nice for stuff like that. And there's one thing for certain. There ain't a thing in the world we can do about it. This weather, it's here. It's probably more coming. And we just have to deal with it. And I don't know any other way to put it. We just have to deal with it. We can complain about it all we want to. It ain't gonna make it go away. And it ain't gonna stop anything else that's coming from coming. And the closer we get to spring, you start to realize like it's right around the corner. Spring's gonna be here. It's not gonna be long. So we just have to take the cards that we've been dealt and make the best of them. And that's the only way there is to put it. I have these pliers right here. Focus camera, there we go. These are not meant for that type of snap ring. However, that's all I have at the house. If these don't work, I'm gonna have to make a quick run up to Daddy's shop and grab the right pair of pliers, but it's what I got here, so I thought I'd try them. I'm kind of interested to see myself if they work. Oh, look. No. Well, I thought they was gonna work. Oh man, I about lost it. It went to the ground, fortunately. There's a washer. All right, I'll take a hammer and see if I can't beat that out. I don't know how easy that pin's gonna slide out of there. Oh, that's easier than I thought it was gonna be. All right, before I pull that pin, I'm gonna go ahead and take these lines loose. An inch, bigger than an inch and a 1/16. Inch and an 1/8. Look at there, inch and an 1/8. So this is the line I gotta have replaced, so we'll go ahead and take it off up here too. And both of those fittings have an O-ring in them, so I need to get new O-rings as well. They look pretty flattened out. Alright, the next one, take this line loose, and we can leave this line on the tractor. I think that line's been replaced before. You know what? Looking at this line over here, I might ought to replace that one too. Look at that. Wrench just fell off the truck. Apparently you can't lay a wrench on the hood of a snow-covered truck. But look at that. I think I'm going to go ahead, since I'm doing this, go ahead and replace that line as well. That one's just too rough a shape to not give no attention to. A little off subject, but look at something else I just noticed. Look at this. Flat as it can be. Definitely gonna have to pump that up before I tear off anywhere. Always something, ain't it? All right, we'll pull that pin out. I'll go ahead and take that pin up there loose too, and these things should be off of here. Ooh. Alrighty, from the looks of it, this one's got a bolt holding it in. Three-quarters. I hear a lot of people talk sometimes about mechanic work, say they can't fix this or they can't fix that. So that's one thing I kind of like about mechanic work is, you know, everything, the mechanics of it are similar to each other. But you just start tearing into it and see what happens. So when this pin comes out, if I could hit the pin, when this pin comes out, I'd really appreciate it if y'all would catch that cylinder for me. I really need a hand holding that thing. This might actually be pretty interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. It's probably just going to fall. Being kind of gentle with it. There she's getting ready to go. There it is. And it just squirted fluid all over me. Y'all look at that. Luckily most of it was on my boot. All right, that bad boy is loose. That was actually pretty easy. I have seen some pins way harder than that. to remove. Now, I hadn't spent a whole lot of time talking to y'all about this tractor, and I'm still probably not going to today, but fixing that cylinder, fixing them hoses. I got to get that other hose off. And then I've got to service this thing. It needs a service from one end to the other. I already have everything to do that with, but I kind of just wanted to get that stuff right there taken care of first. And then the biggest thing that I'm going to have to do, I think it's kind of obvious. I need 2 rear tires. So once the mechanical stuff is fixed on it and I got it serviced and see that there's nothing else really needing attention, I'm going to get 2 rear tires for it. And I think at that point, this tractor's going to be ready to roll. At least I hope. We'll see anyways. All right. I got all that taken apart. Now those two lines right there look fine, so I don't think that's nothing I need to worry about. I got this line off, so I'm going to have that one replaced. And I got the O-ring out of there. All of these little O-rings are the same. Look at that one. Like, it's ripped. But all those O-rings are the same, so I'm going to get me several of those. And it looks to me, those lines right there for the lift cylinders are kind of questionable, but they don't look near as bad as those other lines. So I think I'm not exactly going to worry about them just yet. They still look pretty good. Yeah, I think they'll be all right. Anyways, I got all that tore apart. Now I need to go up here and pump up a truck tire so I can head out and go get all this dropped off and delivered. Both of them shouldn't take over just a couple of days to have fixed. And I'll be ready to put all this back together. I'm going to show you another reason why I don't care nothing about working on this siding right now. You probably can't see it, but maybe you can hear it. But it's like raining off the top of that roof, right in the drip line of where I'd be working. So, I mean, I could be working on it, but I've got so many other little odds and ends that I can be doing too. I'm just decided to work on those. Look right there, y'all. I think the poor old chicken tractor is finally toast. That snow did it in. It's crushed it. Luckily, I think we're going to solve that problem here before too long. So I don't have to worry about that one anymore anyways, but it's finally done in. It's got totaled. Not only do I use weather like this to work on things such as taxes and whatnot, but I have a lot of, especially with the lawn care business, have a lot of receipts and all that kind of stuff to go through. So it really takes a couple of days, or actually longer than that, on and off to get that type of stuff done. But my goodness, y'all, a man can only sit in the house for so long, and he's got to get out and do something. It's completely flat this time. This tire, I busted this tire by running over a deer antler, and I patched it, just trying my best to make it last. And it's been holding up pretty good, but it sure went flat this time. It's got a very slow leak in it around that patch, but the tires were still in too good a shape to get new ones. You wanna ride? Come on. Right there it is, y'all. I know that place don't look very fancy on the outside, but let me tell you something. They have got anything you can think of inside. That's where I'm dropping the hoses off at. And he said give him an hour and he'd have them done. I was like, no way. So anyways, we'll stop back by here shortly.
What doing, lovey-doo? Well, it's time to get all the animals took care of. I came out earlier, y'all, to a little surprise. And I can't wait to show y'all what it was. Here in just a second. Mud everywhere. Come on.
Well, I made it back home a little bit ago. Done got a quote on fixing that cylinder. Not near as bad as I thought it was going to be. Said he'd probably have it sometime next week. I think he said he's going to have to order some parts for it. And then the hoses, I already got them done. On my way home, I stopped back by there. They was ready to pick up. Can't beat that, I'm telling you. Them boys up there, they get it done. So the next thing I'm going to tinker with here is this sawmill. A sawmill's about like everything else. If you don't use it, I guess you about could say you don't need it. I don't use my sawmill much at all, except for this time of year. And it's been rough weather the past couple weeks, and I hadn't been able to really do much on it or much with it. So this sawmill has been sitting since late spring, maybe, of last year. And well, I tried to crank it the other day and it wouldn't start. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what it is. Same issue I run into last year and the year before that and the year before that. There happens to be a little plunger right behind this little panel right here. It's right behind there. And that's a fuel shut-off solenoid. And what happens is the gas, is inside that solenoid and it gums it up. And it won't work. It's like a solenoid that pushes in and out, and it won't pull out to release gas into the carburetor. And I have run 87 in this thing. I've run 93 non-ethanol in this thing. Matter of fact, I run 93 non-ethanol all season last year in hopes that it wouldn't do it this year. And, well, it did. So, I need to pull those two screws right there out. Pull this panel out, and right behind that is the solenoid. I had to pull that out and clean it. Last year, my fuel line down in the tank broke off. So not only was this solenoid stuck, the fuel line was broke off too. I hope that ain't the case this time. There's a dirt knobber's nest. You see that solenoid right there? That's what I got to take out. on out of there. See all that gunk built up on the end of it? Oh, and the gas is running out. I'm gonna cut that off. But you see all that gunk built up? You gotta clean that off. That might be the worst I've ever seen this thing. That thing was corroded up pretty good this time. I promise y'all, I run 93 non-ethanol in this thing all season last year. And not only that, if I can remember right, I think I put some fuel treatment in it too. That was bad. I don't know if I've told y'all the story or not, but last year when I was fixing this, the first time I had a problem with this, it was only like a year old. I had run it the whole time right after I bought it. I'd run it for a few months there, and then the summertime rush came along, and well, I parked it. I just didn't have time to saw any lumber anymore. Well, the next season, it wouldn't start with me. I think I bought this thing in 2020. So this would have been, actually I bought it in 2020 and didn't get it until the spring of 21. So this would have probably been around 20, I don't know, the winter of 22 maybe. I called Woodmiser, told him it wouldn't start, told him I'd tried everything. You could pour gas in the carburetor and it would start, but it wouldn't pull fuel. And I just assumed that it was probably the carburetor stopped up, and luckily it wasn't. It was just that solenoid. When I told them about it, they were not surprised at all. They said it's a very common problem with these Kohler command engines. So, let's turn the fuel on, choke it. You know, the amazing thing with this is I've never put a battery in it. The battery that's in it has been in it since day one. And it's always started, and it'll sit all summer long. And I've never had to jump it off, charge the battery, anything. Alright. I may need to pour a little gas in the carburetor just to give it a kick, a little boost. I don't recommend this at all, but I'm going to squirt a little bit of carburetor cleaner in it. All I needed was something just to give it a good fire off. That worked. Maybe. Well, maybe it didn't work. Still acts like it's not pulling no fuel. All right. I can't hear that solenoid clicking again. I might have to take it back out.
Don't you do it. Don't you go out that gate. I have to watch him. He's my escape artist. He can spot an open gate from a mile away. Can't you, Chores? Come on, Ty. Come on, babies. I'm coming, cows. Y'all ready to eat? They're all watching. I'm gonna tell y'all what. This mud from all this snow is no joke. And anybody in this area that tries to tell you that they ain't got mud, all I know is I need to figure out what kind of dirt they got. This is mud season for us anyway. It's like, it won't dry this time of year. And well, we just have to do what we can do. The cows are muddy, the horses are muddy. I make sure the horses are not wet under those blankets. That's a recipe for disaster. But everything is just mud, and we're gonna have to pull the cows off of this pasture when it warms up in the next day or two, or there won't be no grass left out there. So, unfortunately, it's just the way we have to do it. Cows make mud. Point blank, period. Never had that much issues with just the horses making mud. It's something about cows, though. I don't know what they do, but they're good at making mud. Mud, mud, mud. Hold on. Everybody calm down, calm down. That was nice. You about poured it out. Run out, Cookie. All right. One more. Whew. I got some mama cows getting real close to having some babies. So I'm gonna show y'all how I know. I had thought about it this morning. I said, well, some people might not realize the signs to look for in cattle, especially if you're new to the cow business or whatever, you know. It took me a little learning, and well, apparently I still ain't learned good enough, and I'm gonna show you why in just a minute. Let's go around and look at everybody just real quick. This is, and everybody's muddy, y'all. Like I said, if somebody has a preventative for cows and mud when you've got 8 inches of snow and 3 more inches of ice melting on top of that, you know, you must have better dirt than we do, because mud. Everybody's muddy. It's drier out around that tree, and there's some hay and stuff laying out there they can lay in, but they still look like this. All right, Duchess, little heifer, going on about a year old. Little steer, he don't really have a name. Beef, eventually. Beef, eventually. This is Chocolate, Belle's baby. She's normally a dark brown when she doesn't have her winter coat. Cookie, Jersey Angus. That's what Cookie is. First time bred heifer. I think she's still got a little ways to go, but we can look at her from behind. This is our telltale signs. She's kind of a milk cow. You can see there, heifers' udders are up under them, are sunken up. You can barely see them. And you can see there, she's definitely making one. Black Star, we'll come back to you, Black Star. Belle and Candy. Again, excuse the mud. Belle and Candy are getting super close to having babies. Springing in the back end. Some discharge. Very normal. Belle usually has a lot of discharge, and she's had discharge for a couple of weeks. Bagging up. Poor Belle looked like she got about 10 in there. She always does, though. Boy, she puts on the weight, man, when she's pregnant. So, I know y'all are like, man, I didn't come to this video to look at cows' hind ends. I know. But maybe it'll help somebody. You know what? Don't push it into the fence. But I'm hoping maybe this will help somebody that maybe is not accustomed to cows. Black Star has something on her side there. And she dropped me off a little present. I came down here just a little while ago to a brand new, already dried off, running around baby. Now, I looked at all these cows real good yesterday evening. I've been keeping an eye on them every day. Black Star really ain't lost no weight. Maybe beef cows are not quite like these here milk cows, because no way whatsoever any signs that I see that I thought she would have a calf last night or this morning. Whenever it was. Little bull calf, and he's laying in hay. He's not laying in mud. Cookie and Candy and Belle already love it as well. They love babies. It's so funny because Cookie's just like her mama, and she loves babies. So I hope that means she'll be a good mama. I do, though. I think Cookie's still got a little while. But she's a heifer, so heifers are sometimes very hard to tell. But I was able to tell much better last year that Black Star was fixing to have a baby. This time, she still looks the same besides that goop that's on her side. Calving season is upon us, and some people may ask, Megan, why in the world do you let your cows have calves in the wintertime? Well, it goes like this. We borrow a bull, so we use the bulls when nobody else needs the bulls. And so that's how that works. But everybody's curious, though, and she doesn't want anybody around her baby. That's why I'm not walking over there, because mama cows don't play if it's the right cow. Like this mama right here, you don't mess with her babies, or don't make anybody else's babies holler either, because she will be on you like white on rice, okay? Ask me how I know. What do you think, Duchess? You got a new sibling, you little fuzzy thing. Yep, but y'all, like we always say, real life right here, and unfortunately, the reality of having cows this time of year, the reality is mud. We go through this every year. I've let my water run over. I better go up there. It's muddy enough. Super quick story time while I'm walking up the hill. Black Star was a bottle baby. Her mama passed away during childbirth. She was an old cow, one of Andy's daddy's cows, and so we took her with intentions of her being beef because she was a bottle baby. Bottle babies. Honey, girl, bye. I ain't got nothing in these buckets. They're empty. I'm gonna make a darn ice skating rink down through here. Oh, knock the water hose out. That's great. That's great, water hose. So anyways, we pretty much, I guess you would say, saved Black Star, and raised her and took care of her, and Lord, I knew this would happen. I just loved her so good, and she was so sweet, such a good-natured cow. And I begged Andy and I said, can we please just give her one chance? Because the stipulation was she would be a terrible mama because she never had a mama. Sometimes bottle calves are special. Sometimes they just never really fully take on the mindset of a cow. And so I was worried about her, but I begged him. I said, can we please just give her one chance? And after that one chance, if it does not work out, then she'll be beef. And so we did, and she had her first baby a little over a year ago, and that was Duchess, and she had her no trouble. Don't you knock my camera over? Duchess had her no trouble whatsoever and was an excellent, excellent mama. And apparently she had this one with no trouble, and like I said, she seems to really love it. So all that to say, it looks like Black Star is here to stay, because I just love her so good. You getting any last bite you can get, ain't you, honey?
Well, I got it so it'll sit there and idle. But as soon as I try to give it a little fuel, it kills it. I really think that it's got some dead gas in it. So we're gonna let it sit there and idle and just see what happens. That gas, when I was cleaning out that plunger, it stunk. It smelled just like dead gas, so that could be the problem. There's not very much gas at all in the tank, so maybe I need to just go get some fresh gas and pour in there and see what happens. I got it where it'll stay running on its own. I added a little bit of extra gas to it, fresh gas. And I can tell it ain't quite running just right, but it's getting better. Hear that? That in there. It tries to die out though when you go wide open with it. I still believe it's due to the dead gas in it. So I think I'm just going to leave it down here idling for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just let it run. And hopefully it'll start to clear everything up. I am due for a service on this thing. I need to change the fuel filter, oil filter, and the oil and the air filter. I need to do all that before I really take off and start sawing. So a new fuel filter may help a little bit too. But I really think it's just due to the dead gas that's in it. Because I would imagine if it was the carburetor stopped up, it wouldn't run at all. And when you've got an engine that won't fire off on the gas that's there, usually it means the gas that's in it's bad, and it's just not powerful enough for it to fire. But if you squirt a little something in it and get it running, well then the gas, it'll run on the gas. So I think I'm just going to let it run, and maybe it'll circulate some of that old gas out of it and get the new gas into it, and I'll check back on it here in a little bit. It's been running about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. See if anything's changed. If it ain't nothing changed, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off. I mean, it sounds like it's idling good. Ah, there it went. Now let's go ahead and turn the switch off. We're going to town tonight. I think I'll get me some of the best fuel treatment they got and pour in that tank, or some cars. I'll get something to pour in the gas, and I'll do the same thing tomorrow. I'll let it run, and hopefully that thing cleans up and starts running, because I got a little bit of sawing I need to get done. And I absolutely hate the fact that it sits the way it does, but you know, there's some things you just seems you just don't never have time for, and that's one of them right there. Hopefully, being at home more now, not having to worry about all the mowing that I was doing, I can actually run this thing a little bit more. That's my hope. But who knows? We will see, I guess.
Check and see if we got any eggs. Well, looky there. 4. I'll take that. Jack, get out. Not the best idea to stick eggs in your pocket, but I've only busted a few doing that. Well, y'all, I guess that's gonna about wrap up today's video. Been a little bit of everything. I went over and peeked to see if the baby had decided to get up yet, but it hadn't, and it's normal for newborns to lay around like that, just like newborn babies. Some of them sleep more than others. But anyways, guys, I guess that's gonna about wrap up the video. I hope something in this video today made you smile. Y'all, you know, y'all have blessed us so much. YouTube has blessed us so much. We sure appreciate you watching the videos more than words could ever describe, and appreciate you spending a little time with us. And anyways, guys, till we see y'all in the next one, y'all have a good one.